Hi, my name is Jonathan, and I'd like to talk about evangelical Christians in the United States of America who are huge, big hypocrites. Evangelical Christians in America, they like to say that they are not religious people, they're spiritual. That's how they often introduce themselves as evangelical Christians. Evangelical Christians will say, well, I'm not religious, I'm spiritual. When in fact, the vast majority of evangelical Christians in the United States of America do not actually practice any form of spirituality. They are in fact quite secular people. They live very secular lives, so they're actually not spiritual people. And oftentimes, evangelical Christians in the USA, they like to say, well, I just have a relationship with God. I'm not a religious person. They're so afraid of having the label religious that they say, well, I just have a personal relationship with God, with Jesus Christ. When in fact, evangelical Christians, they do not have a real relationship with God. They don't actually act like God. They'll have the WWJD bracelets. They don't actually act like Jesus Christ. For one thing, they're not pacifists. They do not stand up against war. They're not communists. Jesus was a radical communist. Jesus was a radical pacifist. So obviously, American evangelical Christians do not have a relationship with Jesus Christ, if you look at their lives. And they don't actually spend time on a daily basis with God. They say they have devotionals in the morning, reading the Bible, praying, but they do not. So they actually do not have a relationship with God. They don't act like God. They don't spend time with God throughout the day. So evangelical Christians do not have a relationship with God. And they are in fact religious sociologically. Like evangelical Christians say, well, we're not religious. We're not a religion. We believe in a relationship with God. But that is not sociologically honest, because evangelical Christians are in fact religious. If you look about their norms, their social practices, the people they hang around with throughout the week, other evangelical Christians, their lingo, their language, everything what they say, they practice, what they do throughout the week, the churches they go to on Sunday, they are in fact sociologically religious. You can't run away with that. I mean, they're not being honest with who they are sociologically. I mean, they're obviously a part of a religious group. So they are religious people, not sociologically honest. And so they're not spiritual people. They don't actually practice any form of spirituality, any form of mysticism, having union with God. Like that is the main definition for spirituality, is expressing on a daily basis union with God. It's more a mystical definition, spirituality is. But they don't actually practice it. Like the only branch of American Christians that actually express a form of spirituality are like charismatic Christians and Pentecostal Christians, which they are a lot better than the rest of evangelical Christians and Protestant Christians, because it's better than just being secular. I mean, they're actually more spiritual people, but like Pentecostals and charismatics, they're like a fucked up spirituality. I mean, speaking in tongues, and very schismatic people, like charismatics and Pentecostals, they think they're a different type of human being than the rest of humanity, because they have an experience of being baptized in the Holy Spirit, speaking in tongues and all this. They think they are the real human beings. They're very schismatic people, because they think they're better than everybody else. They think they're better than every other Christian who has not had this experience of being baptized in the Holy Spirit. So they have a fucked up spirituality. So, like, I'm in fact religious. I actually used to be an evangelical Christian. I'm a convert to Eastern Orthodoxy. I'm an Eastern Orthodox Christian. So I am sociologically honest. I am religious. I fast during the week and during our Orthodox fasts. I pray every day. I do pray my Orthodox, both the morning prayers and evening prayers. And I go to liturgy every Sunday, so I am in fact a religious person. I practice religion. There's nothing wrong with that. Like, the reason why evangelicals say they're not religious, they say, well, we're religious people, we're not. Evangelical Christians say, well, I'm spiritual and not religious. Or they'll say, I just have a relationship with God. It's because they are trying to convert other people to evangelical Christianity. They, in fact, it's a subtle way for them saying that they believe other people are going to hell. People of other religions are going to hell. It's a very subtle way of saying it. But I'm not afraid to say I am religious, whereas there are other religions. But I do not believe people outside of Christianity are going to hell. In fact, Muslims, Buddhists, even atheists are going to heaven, and because Jesus Christ died for entire humanity. Jesus Christ defeated death for entire humanity. So obviously, Muslims, Jews, Buddhists, Hindus, atheists are going to heaven, obviously, to me. So I'm not afraid of being called religious, not afraid of other people being called religious, because I'm sociologically honest. I'm also a spiritual person as well, because I'm a mystic. A huge aspect of Eastern Orthodoxy is union with God. That's what theosis is. Theosis, theological term for becoming God. God became humanity so that humanity could become God. It's like the essence, foundation of Eastern Orthodox Christianity. So I'm a mystical person. I'm not afraid of persecution. So what if I tell people I'm religious, and let's say I tell an atheist, yeah, I am indeed religious, and the atheist rejects me because they have a negative view of religion. So what if someone rejects me for my faith? I don't believe the atheist is going to go to hell. I don't reject the atheist just because he has a negative view of religion. I don't, like, who cares for persecution? Like, persecution is a part of life. Like, evangelical Christians, it's like they're afraid of persecution. Evangelical Christians say, well, I'm a spiritual person, not religious, and I just have a relationship with God, because they're afraid of persecution. I mean, so what if people reject you? I mean, persecution of any faith is a part of life. Like, every person in a religion, whatever the religion is persecuted for their religion. Muslims are persecuted for their faith in the United States of America, and, vice versa. So, persecution is part of life. Who cares if someone rejects you for your faith? That's all I wanted to say, is that evangelical Christians in America are huge hypocrites, because they say that, oh, I'm spiritual, not religious, when in fact they're not spiritual, but they are religious, and they do not actually have a relationship with God. That's all I wanted to say, and I love you very much. Bye.